All right, tonight we have Retrowax. This is going to be March edition. So let's open this up and take a look at it if this is your first time ever seeing a Retrowax box. This is a fun rip. You're not going to become a millionaire opening it. So this is what one looks like. You get a nice hefty box of packs. They send you this slip to give you an idea of what you're looking at here. It tells you the list of all the possibilities. We have 83 Don Ross and 86 tops are the big packs this year, this month, not this year. So give me a few minutes. This is from Slater Sports Cards. Give me a few minutes to get this in order the way I like it, and then we will start opening. Be right back. All right, so here we go. And we'll just get right into it. I usually start from the top and work my way through the older stuff. We got 94 Ultra. Maybe find some cool inserts in the set. These cards do sometimes stick. Looks like we're not too bad here today. Mike Matheny used to be the manager of the Cardinals. Vince Coleman. We got Keith Mitchell. Not sure if that's actually a rookie card. Carlos Reyes checks in. We got Carlos Delgado. Not 100% sure if that's a rookie because I know sometimes these cards lie. Mark Thompson, another so-called rookie. We got Archie Franco. We got a Sammy Sosa checking in. Nice action photo there. We got Orlando Miller, another card that says rookie on it, but doesn't mean that it is. We got Will Pennyfeather. Ken Caminetti checks in. We did get an insert card. We got a Yorkis Perez, and the insert card is hitting machines, Tony Gwynn. That's true. He was a hitting machine. So we got an insert card. That's cool. Insert cards are probably what was most popular in the mid-90 cards. We got Studio, 1992 Studio. All right. So we probably all have a lot of these cards in our collection. We don't even know where they came from because I don't remember opening studio packs. We got Edgar Martinez, Royce Clayton. We got Mike Jackson, Scott Fletcher, Tim Burke, Scott Erickson, Nolan Ryan checks in. We got Ozzie Smith, Derek Bell, and Greg Olson on the last card there. All right, let's move on to 1992 Triple Play. The red bordered cards here. A little bit of damage. We got a scratch off card. We got Barry Larkin, Alex Cole, Barry Bonds, Wade Boggs, David Justice, Gary Gaetti, Ryan Sandberg. Pretty good pack for stars. Philly Fanatic, Terry Pendleton, Luis Mercedes, I don't know. Tim Raines checks in. Lee Stevens. So not much in that pack either. All right, we got 1991 Score. Unfortunately, the 1991 Series 2 is the one with the chance for the Mickey Mantle. And if you watch any of my videos, I've opened several boxes. The Chipper Jones is also in Series 2. Candy Maldonado, Darryl Hamilton, Nolan Ryan checks in. I don't even know if there's any good rookies in this series. You got Alex Fernandez, Carlton Fisk, Mickey Templeton, Dave Valley, John Wetland. We got Jim Deshanes, I don't know, Mike Fitzgerald, George Bell, and Kirby Puckett on the last card there. Lots of those cards in my childhood collection. Also, we have 91 Don Ross. The only good thing about 91 Don Ross is the Willie Stargell puzzle piece, which I will put aside. Because living in Pittsburgh, you can't have too many of those puzzle pieces to make those puzzles. All right, you got Eric Davis, Kevin Elster, Ed Winston, Lenny Dykstra, Jay Bell, Greg Olson, Mike Sharperson, Randy Bush, Dennis Eckersley, Brian Harvey, George Brett, Bruce Hurst, Jim Abbott, Terry Shumpert, and Barry Bonds Diamond King. That is the end of that pack. All right, we got more Ultra. This is the very plain Jane gray set. Still was more expensive than the other packs back in the day. We got a sticker. We got a San Diego Padres sticker. We got Lee Lancaster, Cecil Fielder, John Smoltz, Terry Mulholland, Junior Ortiz. We got an insert of Will Clark, Doug Drabeck, Denny Nagel, Ray Langford, Ron Darling, Delano the Shields, Roberto Kelly. Barry Bonds seems to be the flavor of the day, and Lee Smith finishes off that pack. All right, 91 Fleer. Not a whole lot to write home about in 91 Fleer. There's a really good-looking Griffey in this set. You talked into existence once, you get your regular... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the yellow border. My bad. For some reason, I was thinking it was the... I was thinking a 90 Fleer. Don Mattingly. Tony Baseball checks in. Paul Marabella. Steve Sachs. Barry Larkin again. Dave Bergman. Junior Noboa. Randy Johnson. Mike Galeo. Chris Nabbles. I don't know. Dave Johnson and Kent Raybeck finishes off that pack. So none of our featured packs yet. 90 Upper Deck. This is not the one with a chance for an autograph. It would say it right there if it was. It is not. And Upper Deck packs are a mess. Brian Harper. There was a couple of decent rookies in 90, though. Rob Murphy. Tim Wallach. We got Dennis Powell. Tom Glavine checks in. Andy Allison. We got a Boston Red Sox sticker. Hologram sticker. Jeff Russell throwing a football. Orlando Rumes. We got Pat Borders. Joe Carter, Diamond King. Brian Mayer. And Joe Oliver, the last card in that pack. All right, we got a triple of 1990 Don Russ. There's a Juan Gonzalez error card in this. There's also a John Smoltz error card. I wish I had this in the Lily Star Junior. 3 puzzle pieces. Because you don't get much else in 1990 Don Russ. Not imagine opening a whole box of these. Okay. Whole lot of cards. Kirk Gibson. Francisco Cabrera. I'm not going to rip it up today. Sean Dustin. Zane Smith. Mark Langston. Tim Jones. Glenn Braggs. Craig Worthington. Rance Molnix. I don't know. Bob Knepper. Clay Parker. Julio Franco. Jamie Navarro. Nolan Ryan. Paul Klingus. Gerald Perry. Sean Hellengass. Jim Presley. Tom McGran. Don Carmen. Sorry, some of these Carson names are giving me a hard time. Steve Linens. Dan Pasqua, I think. Juan Samuel. Not even going to try that one. Kevin Brown. Ryan Sandberg All-Star. Greg Jeffries. Gary Carter. Rick Leach. Domingo Ramos. Mark Grace. Scott Fletcher. Bob Welch. Bill Bathe. Don Robinson. Ozzie Guillen. A checklist. Jeff King. Danny Heap. We got the Carl Yastrzemski puzzle card thing. Like picture of the puzzle. Brian Downing. Geronimo Barrero. Sid Fernandez. Lee Stevens. Bob Boone. And Pedro Guerrero. Finishes off that absolute garbage pack of 1990 baseball. All right, next up we got 90 Fleer. Edgar Martinez is really the only rookie to write home about in this. Actually, that's the wrong set. I'm getting my Fleers mixed up today. An Indian sticker. This is the one with the nice looking Griffey. That's not his rookie. John Wetland. Jamie Moyer. Hubie Brooks. Bob Boone. Pat Clements. Steve Sachs. Brian Mayer. Bert Blyleven. George Bell. Kurt Young. Roger McDowell. And Mark Morrow Gozo. We haven't really got into any of the good packs yet, but this is where it kind of starts. We start getting into better cards here. You got 89 Fleer. There's a Griffey in here. The Billy Ripken card, Randy Johnson, there's a couple others. Craig Biggio, maybe. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. Joe Bryce, Mike Smithson, Les Lancaster, Glenn Braggs, Terry Clark, Steve Lambardozzi, Frank DePino, Chet Lemon, Lance McCullers, Mike Davis, Cecilio Guante, I don't know, Dennis Martinez, Mark Gubizek, that's not right, Chris Brown. What does it matter? Didn't get any of the good cards. All right, 89, Don Russ. I'm kind of flying through this today. 89, Don Russ. So you got Griffey, Sheffield, Biggio's in this one. And here we go. Ruben Sierra, Howard Johnson, Ted Higuera, Ozzie Smith, Greg Harris, Alan Trammell, Mike Scott, Vince Coleman, Jose De Leon, Pat Tabler, Craig Worthington, Vance Law, Rich Gedman, and Roberto Alomar. So nothing really to show for it in that pack. All right, you got 989 score. Not really keen on who the big rookies are in 89 score. Griffey does not have a card. Imagine there's a couple. Brian Dowling, Kevin Elster, Craig Biggio, that's probably his rookie. So we got a hit. Chris Bossio, Jim Gott, Bob Brower, Damon Berryhill, Cecilio Guanan, I don't know, Curtis Wilkerson, Bruce Benedict, Joe Hesketh, Terry Blocker, Jose Rijo, and Mike Campbell. So we got the Biggio. That's one hit. All right, 89 tops. Same deal. Biggio, Randy Johnson, Smoltz, I believe. No Griffey. He was in the traded set. Could not get Griffey in a pack, which I actually don't agree with. I think his rookie card should be 1990. Steve Berdozian, Gary Templeton. We got Jerry Roos, Gary Reedus, Luis Alicia, Denny Walling, Alan Trammell All-Star, Jeff Reardon, Ernie Witt, Ron Hassey, Dickie Thon, Luis Polonia, Chuck Krim. We got a Nolan Ryan, and we got a Dale Murphy. So, Nolan Ryan's cool and everything, but not worth that much. 88 Don Russ. I think I finally figured out 88 what 88 Don Russ looks like. I always have a hard time figuring out which set that is. And it is indeed 88 Don Russ. And 88 Don Russ is a hot pile of garbage. Not a whole lot in here. Tracy Jones, Ken Caminetti, jumped out of my hand. Bill Long, Pete Incaviglia, Joey Mayer, Tom Foley, Jose Canseco checks in, and Mickey Hatcher. So it's to be expected. Not much there. Now this one, the first time we ever got this one in Retrowax that I can ever remember, Big Baseball. This is 88. So I don't think there's a whole lot of good rookies in 88. We're going to start with okay, I got the cards upside down. You got Jose Canseco. We got a Dwight Gooden, a Teddy Higuera, a Mike LaValliere checks in, a Nolan Ryan, a Bo Jackson. I'm super excited about that as a kid, and a Kirby Puckett. So now the issue is finding a place to put those cards without them getting smashed because they're way bigger than every other card. All right, we got another triple pack. This time it's of 88 score. And just like the other triple pack, not a whole lot to write home about in this set. If I see a rookie, I might be able to yell it out. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I know really well who the rookies are in 88 score. All right, big stack of cards. Again, 88 score. Benny Santiago, Franklin Stubbs, Lance McCullers, Kurt Ford, Ted Simmons, Quisenberry, Benedict, Ramirez, Jeff Russell, Moyer. We got a Will Clark, kind of like an insert. Moreland, Saberhagen, Reardon, Concepcion, Lee Randolph, Lonnie Smith, Don Slott, Billy Hatcher, Reggie Jackson card there, Jimmy Quirk, Jose Canseco, Julio Franco, Dwight Evans, Dennis Walling, 3 Chinese stars, John Smiley, Juan Castillo, John Christensen, Annie Van Slyke, Nolan Ryan again, Donnie Hill. I wonder if I'm better off just like pulling cards like Nolan Ryan out as I go instead of putting them in these giant boxes and then having to go through them all over again. 88, I think Glavin is the big rookie here. Pretty much the only rookie in 88. 88 is a set that I have a ton of from my childhood. Bought a lot of these. You know, my dad bought me a lot of these cards. 88, I was 10, so John Kruk, Annie Van Slyke. Would have been super excited back then. Surhoff. Man, this has been another really bad box. You got another rack pack though, this time 87. You got Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, Barry Larkin, got Tony Gwynn All-Star there. Bo Jackson. And this classic wood grain design. All right, another big stack of cards. We got a lot of cards this time. Vaughn Hayes, Dave Schmidt, Quisenberry, Canseco, Ozzie Smith, Burbeck, Johnny Ray, Tom Candiotti, Randy Myers, Larry Anderson, Milt Thompson, Tom Foley, Davey Johnson, Jeff Robinson, Nate Snell, Rick Shue, Gary Redis, Bob Dernier, I don't know, Juwan Burr, I'm going to try it, Carl Best, John Morris, we got a Tony Gwynn All-Star card, Maldonado, Larry McWilliams, Benedict, Harris, Brock, Bob Deere, Wade Boggs, Mason, Junior Ortiz, Vita Blue, Ken Oberkfell, Mike Fitzgerald, Charlie Liebrandt, and Dave Stibe. So our terrible luck with Retrowax just continues. And insert Tony Gwynn that I'm not even really sure about scarcity or value, and a Craig Biggio rookie that I can probably get for 50 cents at a card show. 87, we got Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, a couple other guys. I'm pretty frustrated with these boxes. I don't know. Maybe this should come to an end. Bob James. I mean, it just never ends. Wow. 87. Something to get excited about. Why? You guessed it. Puzzle piece. Clemente puzzle piece. I would pick up a box of 87 any day just to add to my puzzle pieces. Put that over there. And I love the black border. I know anybody that watches goes, oh, here goes the black border again. Bill Doran, Frank Tana Anna. That's probably not right. Doug Drabeck, that's probably his rookie, but it's not worth anything. Strawberry, not a rookie. Kevin Mitchell, Nirko, Milt Thompson, David Stibe, Ozzie Smith, and Dave Sven. Wow. All right, we're down to our last 2 big packs. 86 tops. Nolan Ryan, second year Clemens, second year Puckett. It says Cuckett on here. And it says loaded with Hall of Famer. So there's not even a big rookie in this. Wow. Why would they do this as a featured pack? That's kind of lame. Yeah, this set always sells pretty cheap when I see them sell. Because there's just there isn't a lot in here. People always confuse I at least confuse the Clemens as a rookie sometimes. Eckersley, Wardell, Brooke Jones, This is a mess. Fernando Valenzuela, Jim Randy Hunt, Kevin Gross. Dude, that was just another terrible pack. All right, last chance. 83 Don Russ, Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, Ryan Sandberg. I've hit Tony Gwynn and the Sandberg, actually. I'm sorry, I've hit the Tony Gwynn and the Wade Boggs. I sold both of them. I just sold my Tony Gwynn for $5, and I think the Wade Boggs sold for $9 or something like that. So not super valuable cards. I've never hit the Ryan Sandberg. That'd be cool to hit that. Daryl Porter. Let's go through this one a little slower. Randy Martz. Dave Rucker. Onyx Concepcion. Ed Whitson. Candy Maldonado. Rudy May. Pat Corrales. Terry Felton. Johnny Bench. It's pretty cool. George Henrik. Oh, right. We hit this Ryan Sandberg. All right, I'm done whining. We got the big hit. That's cool. Never hit that card in my life. Jim Morrison and Juan Benaquez. So, okay. All's well that ends well. I'm not blaming the guy from Slater's sports card for my boxes being bad. I just have had terrible luck. I've hit some cards too, though. I've hit Jeters a lot. But that's awesome. I hit the Sandberg. Johnny Bench, Biggio. These three will just go into the fast track baseball box to get looked up faster than they would if they go into these bigger boxes I have. But the Sandberg will get top loaded. We'll actually use the top loaders from our friends here. So that's it for today. That's the best card we got. Probably the best possible card too, I would think. Rest in peace, Ryan Sandberg. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.